Dan here, DD Speed Shop. Going old school. I'm doing all the filming myself today. What is this? Danny, well, we're working on 57 Chevy. So Danny, who usually does all the filming, she took a page out of my book, and last night at Thanksgiving turkey dinner, she went a little hard. Now she has a tummy ache. So it's just me today, guys. Anyway, on the past couple of videos, we've been starting to work on this thing, tearing it apart. We got some stuff kind of dialed together. It's just tacked. The real thing is I want to get this car as together as it can be, because probably in the next video or video after, we're going to be all over this unit. So I want to put the floor pan in. There is still a lot to disconnect up here, because the way I do it, I'm going to just tilt the front of the body up, see if we can get in there. I'm fighting out this power steering deal and all this stuff that it has, but anyway, the frames are relevant, it's all junk, but all the mounting bits are in the right spot. So we do have this frame, still waiting on the kind of chassis bits to come in the mail, so we're doing body work, well, metal work, which I actually, this part I enjoy, cutting out the rust and putting new stuff in, make it look like a car. I love the body work, and not so much. Now, this thing here has typical rot, all in back here. This all gets junk. So these Tri-5 Chevys always rot in the same way. I've said 1,000 times. Dirt obviously gets packed in here, and then it just festers, and it rots itself out. And in turn, it rots the trunk drop down here, which is kind of lame. And actually below this flat section, well, this little window shows it. Maybe right here. That is a bolt head for the body mount. And this right here is actually a little structural piece. So what happens is the structural piece goes across first. The front floor, I believe, goes in there, and then this piece goes over top. So it's like a sandwich effect. So I have bought this kit. I think they actually sell it as a kit for like 500 bucks. I don't know where I got this one from. I originally bought it for a different car. So we're gonna go ahead and put it in now. I'm gonna use all three pieces. I've done it with you just do the trunk floor. It is tricky because, like I said, this is the drop down piece that's actually rotted, and this piece actually goes further back. So it's tough to get it in there if you're not taking the whole bit out, but luckily we are. This is the little brace piece, which will fit under here. I think that's the body mount hole, and this is kind of like a little structural piece. This is upside down, but it all kind of goes together. And this is a little tail piece that you actually see, and based on what I'm seeing here, it's for a 55 Chevy, but I believe they're all the same. The problem with this piece is it's always, always, always too narrow. So you can actually see where it's already starting to tear. That's where the body piece is going to be. So we kind of line that up. We're still going to have some rust repair to be done. Now, this is not actually a structural deal. Oh yeah, and I was going to cut this out as well and just make a plate for it. So that'll all be taken care of as well. Otherwise, it's not too bad. They typically rust on this thing around there. It's got just a little tiny bit of kind of flaky rust. But honestly, I don't think I'm even going to do anything with that. That'll be some rust converting paint and we'll be fine. What I am fighting on this thing is mini tubbing it if we're going to put big tires on, which I have bought in the past tubs that go on. It is a bit of a hassle because all this stuff has to be finagled. Oh, there's like a belt. Genuine GM. Wow. So, but what guys also do, like they'll split them. You'll, cut whatever 2 inches out. I believe it's 2 inches and it goes to the frame. That's the whole deal. Is the frame rides probably right about there, so it goes over. So you cut right on this line-ish. You put this tub over, you re-weld that in, and then you basically put a strip in, but it becomes a hassle because you actually have to cut out the back seats and all sorts of stuff like that. So I'd prefer not to do that. If I can fit a 295 tire in here without doing that would be the ticket, but such is life. Anyways, I think I'm gonna set the camera up and really we're just gonna start kind of pulling this apart, and you can see how previous fix rotted this is. And the trunk floor is nice, the brace is nice, and this piece here I'll probably just have to weld it wherever I can. I'll have to make a couple little pieces here and there, but again, yeah, so the floor drops down and it goes over and maybe end up there, or maybe that's just extra material. I'll trim that out. I'm not 100% sure. Pretty simple. All I'm going to do, cut everything out, and then I'm going to line up the trunk patch, because I believe it has a cutout. Oh yeah. Line this up. You're in the clear, and once it's in there, we can decide what we want to trim out the sides and all that. Sometimes they rot out. It's not bad. Just a little hole right there. So it's got a little hole right there, which actually is much easier to fix from the outside in. So I think that's how I will fix that at a future date. But for now, put the mask on, start cutting. This is your alignment pin for the deck lid, and this is obviously the latch. So you do want to not throw these out. They are kind of important. I believe they're just spot welded in or something. So the zip disc fixes all. Anyway, give Danny a hard time in the comment section for eating too much turkey, because this is Dee Speed Shop. She's a freaking lightweight. Okay, a little ways ahead, so we got everything kind of cut out. I took these little braces out. I'm not going to put those back in. That just gets the bolts for the fuel straps or whatever. I cut the wheel well, spare tire well out. It was rotted. This is actually a very common thing guys do. You plate over it. So the way a Tri-5 Chevy works is the fuel tank stops here, so it only goes here to here. So it's only a 15, 16 gallon tank, which is not ideal when you're running a big block Chevrolet. I have a tank for it, but they do sell one. Actually, I think I have one in Manitoba now I think about it. It goes full width. If you remove this, we'll just put a flat piece in. I cut it and left this little ridge, so hopefully I can kind of set a piece in, kind of weld it around, and seam seal it top and bottom, and it'll look just fine. Here are the body mounts. You can see how squashed they are. I don't think this thing has ever been apart in its entire life. I think it was driven, and then obviously something happened. I mean, it still has all the power steering and all that sort of stuff up front. Obviously, there's no motor trans in it, so maybe the motor let go, transmission let go, whatever it is. Someone had tried to kind of restore it, but keep it on the road. I mean, it was this ugly yellow by the looks of it, and then someone painted it gold like it was someone's hot rod. And then obviously something happened. It had dual exhaust on it, which I don't think these things ever came from the factory. I don't know. But dual exhaust with like some little, I don't know, like straight through can mufflers. Like it was someone's car. Well, they're always someone's car, but And then it just kind of got put away, and unfortunately, well, or fortunately, I could afford it, because these things, when they're mint, are unobtainium. So, well, financially unobtainium. So now what we got going on is I have to kind of decide how much of this floor I want to cut out. As you can see, I cut it short. It's kind of got a double layer there. That's where that other panel is. So I'm just kind of keeping that to keep everything in line. Not that it really matters. There is a bit of a kind of a bow or a funky kind of curve to it, but Tri-5 deck lids, in my experience, never fit that great. You're trying to accomplish two gaps at once, which I always think is very tricky. You have your top gap as well as your back gap, so you have an in and out and an up and down. So it's a situation. But they sure look cool. So then I'm going to just kind of blitz this thing down a little. Like, I mean, realistically, what I'll probably do is cut it just somewhere around like that. Just make sure there's no more rot. But typically, they always just rot right in the back. So if we go, I mean, 2 or 3 inches, or just even in line with this, the whole way across, I think we're in the money. Maybe just double check. I think that's fine. I don't think there's any real crazy rot to deal with. So we can get that in there, we can get the other piece set in. Everything kind of goes together, and then it just kind of tacks all together. So you'll actually have the floor in and the brace in, and then the other piece is like just kind of nice. And then I'll just weld it from underneath or whatever. And then along the side, like I said, down here you can get to, let's see my hand real easy. It's much easier to plate this on the outside, cut this out and plate it, than it is to do it from the inside in my tiny brain. And you can see this, see it all drops down. So we'll just kind of plate over it, drill a couple holes, plug weld it, seam seal it. That's the ticket. I will grab a couple of new body bushings. I have on the floor pan right there's a box with brand new ones. Just to put it on there, I don't know if I said it or not, but these are so squashed down, make it at the level it should be. Not that it really matters. I mean, there's clearly a fair amount of flex in there, but that's the way I'll do it. I might even, if I have some bolts, I'll run them down just so it's in there to kind of secure that where it's going to be, so the brace is in the right spot. Again, these have so much wiggle room to them. Put the brace in, put the floor pan in, figure out how those go together. I should look, I'll probably just grind it all and plug weld it, seam weld it, what does it really matter? It'll be solid, and then this here, same thing, I'll give it the cut as we go. The material will fall out. We'll kind of tack it all in. This will then have to be seam welded the whole way across, which is very lame, but it will look good when it's done. I've done it, I think, on dang near every Tri-5 I've ever had. Maybe not Danny's car, maybe not the two-door 55. I for sure did this bit. But that's the plan, and then this will be its own disaster. But it's really just a little curve there, and we'll have to build a little piece there, which we may, well, I guess there's nothing left. Sometimes like, well, if we might be able to use some of this, I guess it's too small. Like I said, we'll figure it out. Okay, let's get the other panels in here and start working. Change of plans. I'm gonna cut this a little bit. I want to get to the edges. I want to get that cleaned up, get all that junk out of there, and then I can start fitting the new panel in. So we'll kind of zip through that right quick and see how it all works out. Totally confident. Worst case, we cut it out and start again. Okay, so a bunch of screwing around later. This thing is in. You know, the holes are somewhat lined up. This one has to take a bit of a schwack-ski. It's getting caught up right there. We can fix that with a grinder. You can see that's gonna line up nicely. This all kind of lines up, and then right here, I'd say that's where it wants to live. Now, the camera is out and low on battery. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play with this structural piece a bunch, because now we have to make this fit. And it has to fit, I believe, that way. Nope. This way? Maybe. Yeah, it must fit like that. So it has to fit under this section here. I might have it upside. I don't even know, to be honest with you. I'll have to do a little looking around. And I got to figure out how I want to attach it to this, whether I drill holes in this or this and plug it all together. And like I said, before I do that, I want to make sure I get some bushings under there, which is going to sit somewhere on this piece, maybe right there, just to hold it up level. And then we can start tacking it into place. So once that's in, then we can start deciding what we want to do. Like I said, this will probably be a little, just doing my own piece. And back here even, I might just weld this in for now and tackle that. And this could be a whole separate video. I don't know how to do it. There's so many things where, like making that little patch, I need one over there. And then like, you know, this little patch down here. Maybe we'll just do a video on that, making little homemade patches. But we'll put it together and it'll be sturdy, because ultimately the floor has lots of strength. We'll be going, you know, most of this and get this across, so it'll keep that all dialed together. There was nothing there holding the car. And then we can have it bolted down if we want. So there you go, bit by bit. And this will be, I'll probably still get a couple of Coke can boxes. I'll just trace it, cut it, and we'll put it in there and it'll be close enough. Okay, Danny's back out of her turkey coma. No yawning. So I got this piece all dialed together. So I just kind of drilled holes, plug welded it in. What I did do is I slotted these back holes where the bolts are going to go. I just, you know, it was a little weird on this one. It didn't fit super good. I don't know. This thing's got a bit of a pull on it, so I wonder if it pulls if the frame rail narrows or what. And it was a little bit on the narrow side. And I guess I could have checked on that frame, but I didn't. So that's all dialed together. The other thing I did, I think I did it in fast motion. I cut a section of this off because it doesn't make sense, but then I found a little piece that was left over. I think what it is this is flat, but you got to bend this down. So I did that on the edges and everything seemed to fit a heck of a lot better. So basically all I'm going to do is get this kind of lined up-ish. Basically, if I can get it lined up with the wheel spare tire. So we'll get that first. Where's my other pair of ice screws? Now it's all jacked up here, so we gotta smash her down. We just threw everything upside down trying to find this impact. Now everything's underneath. Okay, so that's kind of that. Now we're gonna impact this together with some shelf tappers to kind of hold up, obviously, because it just wants to sag. May need some longer ones. But I'm just going to run a bunch of self-tappers across. Everything is lined up here with the holes. Actually, this one can go back just a bit now that I see it. May have to take this apart just to hear. Oh, it was caught on this thing. sheet metal work. Nightmare. But once it's all together, we're good. So I'm just gonna pepper this with self-tappers. That'll hold it up. And then once that's done, we'll zip cut through and we'll weld it like we do on every other panel known to man. And then all we gotta do is build a little piece here. And then we're gonna call it a day. Ugh, bugger. This has a bit of a kind of tilt down, but we'll just have to put a little floor jack or something under it. Seems like it's like we just gotta do this. Probably a couple of nuts and bolts in there might be the plan as well. Because it wants to roll forward, but I guess it's all kind of irrelevant. Worst case, it all tightens up, it'll be fine. Okay, I'm gonna get this fit in and we'll come back and see what it looks like. So this is kind of the look we're going for. We gotta cut some more material out. But basically, as long as these top bits are gonna line up, that should give us a pretty close look for the deck lid. Now what I'm going to do here, like I said, it's just kind of, because you can kind of see there how it's obviously that's where it wants to fit. So this needs to be just kind of bent down a little bit. And odds are you probably got to weld this piece in, and it has a nice fold right where that deal is. And then I'm thinking I'm going to drill some holes in this. So what I'll probably do, I'll line up there and there as best I can. I'll drill holes in this. We'll knock it up against that panel. We'll plug weld it from the bottom, so that ain't going anywhere, and it'll be locked in at the top. So at least that's what I think. So I'm just going to give this a quick fold. I'll come back after and kind of hammer and dolly it, make it look a little nicer, and obviously we'll test fit it a few times. So that's that. Otherwise, I put a floor jack. It actually worked out good. There was a little from the trailer hitch with a 2x4, and that made it flat. Looking back, you know, it's probably sagging. It's all my tools are in here. So we got that under control. I'm gonna do now is the simple zip and kind of weld. I'm not gonna go too crazy because this has to be solid welded in. Well, I don't feel like doing that today, as it turns out, Danielle. But should be good. Just gonna, okay, cool. I got some zip discs, I just need a battery. So maybe I'll just get started here. Danny can film the action. You know what I'll do is right here to start. So we're gonna have that little slit, and now what I'm gonna do is, I need that, give this a little pull up so it kind of lines up. Phone ring? No. You're here, who would be calling me? Okay, that's cool. And then this is now where a little screwdriver kind of comes into play. Just kind of jam it in there. Give it a bit of a pull. There we have it. This, you know, I always find like these little stampings and all that are never exact. They're close. So I zip them in there. We'll see what happens. deal. Get the, that's not too bad there. That's good. Line the top up. That's cool. So now these can all actually come out. Whoops, they're doing nothing. We're actually going to pull the other way. So we got to lower this thing just a little bit if we can without completely mangling it. It's not bad. Again, it's the trunk floor, people. Body hammer would be sweet. That identified as a body hammer. Okay, that's cool. So now the other thing is sometimes you got to cut a little further than you want to give it some more give. If you want to pry, like that's a fair bit to pry down. So what we're going to do is we're going to pry that black part down, which will probably pull this further than we want down, but then we'll have to fix that kind of lengthwise as we go over it. Had a little torque on it. Okay, so same deal. Oh, I feel like we were grinding into, maybe I should give that a little buzz here where it's lined up first. Okay, that'll hold it in place there, hopefully. You may end up welding a screwdriver or two to your patch. We've all been there, it's fine. That's why they sell them in 30 packs for cheap. What? How am I doing? Well, my eyes closed. Okay, 7th try. There we go. So now we pulled that down, but now the black is kind of low. So we have to run the screwdriver the other way. Cool. That's actually not too bad. Okay, we're making progress. Pull this up a little bit. Now again, if this was a body panel, you could take a little bit more time, I guess, if you wanted to, but it's a trunk floor. It's like a rich hickory. Okay, same deal. Look at all the effort we're putting into a trunk floor. I should have just self-tappered this and put a floor mat down. Okay. Actually, that's not too bad at the top. You close your eyes so hard there, baby.
What is this technique called?
The Rick Han of Old Time Garage 101. Make it happen? I don't know. She's tight here. Oh, our lumber is in the way. Okay. We're getting there. Every time I work on this car, Johnny Cash is playing in my head. One piece at a time. You know what we should sell, Danielle? You should invent it. Is a little pry bar tool for this somehow. It'll be like skinny with a sure Snap-on sells it, but it's not meant for this. We'll steal the idea and then not warranty it. Oh. Well. Okay, we're almost there. This one's actually got to come out. I'm getting bored. You're making the people watch this whole thing?
You keep talking.
I'm sorry. People always want, oops, they want more action. This is about as much action as you get. Could just time lapse this, but no. Danny doesn't want to edit. Actually, there's a fair bit of time lapse in the beginning here. So
People always say more working.
well, you know us. We're always trying to do exactly what the internet wants. But we should actually be able to get this. It'll pull up. Well, a lot of pieces can be held up with the floor jack, so maybe I won't do it. But there's gonna be a big strip underneath. Those come right out. This one almost to the end, just so it kind of holds its shape until we get a little closer. Which that's lined up pretty nice. This is where it starts to get a little unhappy. Cool. Zip these out. I might have to. That little weld I put in is probably not long for this world. I wonder if I should get it from the bottom. Not really. I might just live there for this. I'm kind of, it's a little goofy on the corners. This panel like curves up, the replacement panel, and the factory one just kind of, I don't need that. I need this. Kind of straight. Okay. You want to do the other side right quick, or just I'll do that on my own and we'll pull the strip out in the end. Okay. Let's get this together. So I left the floor jack under it just to kind of hold everything sturdy. This is the piece that came out from over here. So that's what will end up lengthwise there. I folded this over. It's a little ugly, but we'll smash it back into place once everything's kind of tacked in. I've widened this bit just to fit here, and I ground down the back so that way we can plug weld it into place in theory. So this should kind of eyeball together. Now let's get a tackle in so I can kind of hold it. That makes my life 1,000 times easier for me. This is so rotted, unfortunately, and obviously full of lead. Please take a little weld there. That was barely hanging on. Maybe this ought to be a little nicer. Okay, so that is just barely hanging on, but this here you can see is going to be, you know, somewhat lined up that to that. Like there's nothing to weld to hold it, and then same here. This actually has to. This is all rotted out, but you can kind of give her a close little tack. Ooh. So this This is bent up. I mean, I don't know if it shows up on camera. It's bent to crap, so nothing's gonna fit in there. But we're close. Here's again close. Nothing is perfecto. So we can kind of give it. Again, I don't even know if it's the, like, look at this. Like, how are you even gonna try and match that? If we should go down just a little, maybe. Maybe I'll do that. Ugh. All this lead and junk in there. Okay. I mean, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Close this and see what it kind of looks like.
It's not bad.
I'm gonna give it a pass as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we can make anything we want in here.
Yeah.
This will be filler in there, so that's how that's gonna live its life. Now, what I want to do is, we're happy with the way that fits. We'll just weld the backside, a couple of plug welds. Then we can attack this on its own little thing, because I'll end up building that in 2 or 3 pieces or more. Would be nice, actually. They sell a piece that goes across here, joins it all the way down, which is really more than we need. But a good 4-door yawning, a 4-door parts car with a Sawzall, if you could just cut this bit out and then just stitch it in, that would be primo, as far as I'm concerned.
I was thinking about turkey.
Are you hungry again? So,
You wanted that you're gonna forget that that's there.
no, I'll never forget that. So what I'm gonna do here is just kind of clamp this into place, kind of flatten out the metal. Clamp right beside where we want. Okay, watch out, this is gonna spatter. Oh, maybe. Yeah.
After yesterday, I was confused because I put brand new socks on, and then when we went out, there was a bunch of holes in the toes. I was like, how did this even happen? And then I remembered I was wearing them while you were welding.
In your Crocs?
Yeah.
Well, if you aren't wearing proper footwear, these are the things that happen. Okay, watch out. Where's the next one? A light here would be sweet. Oh well. Let's put a couple of plugs in here. In case you want to change it. One more for good luck. Okay, so now that's in there, even though it's not actually touching the sides. Mucho happy with that. So now, all I want to do is make this flat piece, so I'll, how can we do that easy? Probably just trace it out, actually. Trace it and cut it, oops. Gotta get all the locks. There's definitely wood on fire. So, I used to have a wheel tub, which I kept. It was in good shape, and I would just flip it upside down and trace the piece out, but that is probably, I don't know if there's one in the shed, maybe there is. I'll go look there real quick. If not, we'll have to probably just lay a piece of paper over that or whatever, and or even a piece of steel, and trace it, cut it, put it in, 6 or 7 tack welds, and I think we're done for the day, but that looks much better. Look at that. With no know-how and minimal tools, you too can have a ratty 57 Chevrolet. So I made a template. It's pretty simple. It's kind of, actually I just put a piece of cardboard on there with all my tools on top. I just traced it from underneath. It ended up being just a little bit bigger, so I actually cut the floor so it'll be flush mount, and then we'll just mount it to that. I'll have to get underneath and grind it all, but that's that. We should keep this for the next one we do. But yeah, she's kind of all dialed together. I think it fits
That looks great.
pretty decent as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, we kept this stuff which has the latch, all that junk, so I'll have to take the latch apart, make sure that works. Otherwise, we still have the floor jack under there out of laziness, which I'll probably forget and it'll fall and it'll be a disaster or whatever. We have, like I said, we have to do some patching, obviously, here, so I'll do that from the wheel tub side, and we gotta make, I'll probably make it in a couple pieces. I think I did it before. I'll make like a piece that does this, which will go over there, and then we'll just build a 90. We'll probably use the shrinker stretcher.
Yeah, you did that same repair on the Blue 55.
I've done it a few times, but that's that. This is only kind of held in with a couple of little spot welds. So I'll have to go back and kind of get that all taken care of. But I mean, nothing's going anywhere. It's way more sturdy than it was. And I think that's where we're gonna leave it. Up next, I'm gonna pull the interior out, the back panels, and back seat. I gotta clean up a little bit in here. Obviously, it's a disaster, but we have to take the floor out. Taking the floor out is gonna be another monumental mess. So I'll just kind of sweep this into a pile, and maybe later on tonight or something, or tomorrow we'll have a full garbage run ready to go, because the floor is ugly. Ooh, it's ugly. I'm not looking forward to it, but this car's coming around. It's actually kind of fun. We're on day 3 now of kind of working on it. Worked out good with a long weekend. I don't know if I'll probably get the floor cut out tonight, but fitting the new one in, there's so much grinding and stuff to be done. That'll probably be a tomorrow job. So I'm looking forward to that tonight. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment below, and hopefully enjoy 57 Chevrolet 2-door hardtops, because we got them.